Have you ever heard of a cemetery built underground, under a chapel, that was also used for secret meetings during revolutions? In the quiet town of Nagcarlan, Laguna, there's a place exactly like that. It's called the Nagcarlan Underground Cemetery, the only one of its kind in the Philippines, built in 1845 by a Franciscan priest. In this video, we're going to walk through its red brick arch, go down the stairs into the underground crypt, and talk about how this peaceful cemetery became a hidden meeting place for revolutionaries fighting Spain, and later other foreign powers. So if you're curious about real history that feels almost like a movie, stay with me and let's go underground together. From the outside, Nagcarlan Underground Cemetery doesn't look scary at all. You see a red brick archway, an old stone wall forming a circle, and a simple chapel at the center of a green lawn. It feels more like a small park than a cemetery. But as you step closer, you notice the graves built into the walls, and a narrow door inside the chapel that leads down a staircase. Somewhere under your feet, there's a crypt that once kept the remains of Spanish friars and elite families, and later, the whispers of people planning a revolution.
Back in 1845, a Franciscan priest named Father Vicente Veloc decided to build a new cemetery for Nagcarlan. To follow health rules of that time, he placed it outside the town center, below Mount San Cristobal. But he added something unusual. Under the chapel, he designed an underground burial chamber. The cemetery above ground was for ordinary townspeople. The underground crypt was reserved for friars and prominent families. Over the years, more and more people were laid to rest here, until the walls held hundreds of niches. If the story ended there, Nagcarlan would just be an interesting old cemetery. But history had a different plan.
Fast forward to the Philippine Revolution in the late 1800s. The Spanish authorities were hunting members of the Katipunan and other revolutionaries. Meetings had to be held in places that were quiet, hidden, and easy to watch for danger. Believe it or not, Nagcarlan Underground Cemetery became one of those places. Revolutionary leaders met here to talk strategy, which aimed to stop the fighting with Spain and push for reforms. Imagine that for a moment. Under a small chapel in Laguna, in a crypt built for silence and prayer, Filipino leaders sat together, thinking about how to change the future of the country. Later on, during the Philippine-American War and even World War II, the underground area was again used as a hideout and meeting place for fighters and guerrillas. The same walls that listened to prayers also listened to plans for battle.
Today, Nagcarlan Underground Cemetery is no longer an active burial site. It has been declared a National Historical Landmark, and no new burials are allowed. When you visit, guides usually ask you to speak softly. You walk through the arch, follow a path across the grass, and step into the small chapel. Then you see the staircase. You go down a few steps, and the light from outside starts to fade. The air becomes cooler. On the walls, you begin to see the old niches and markers. It's not horror movie dark, but it is the kind of place that makes you think. You remember that this crypt held both the dead and the living Filipinos who risked their lives to meet here in secret.
For me, that's what makes Nagcarlan Underground Cemetery special. Yes, it's the only underground cemetery in the Philippines. Yes, it has unique architecture and old bricks. But more than that, It's a reminder that even quiet places can hold very loud stories. A simple chapel, a small crypt, somewhere in Laguna. Yet under those low ceilings, Filipinos once whispered about freedom, independence, and what kind of future they wanted for the country. So next time you pass an old cemetery or chapel, you might wonder, what happened here that never made it into the school textbooks? If you want to hear more Did You Know stories about hidden corners of Philippine history, places, people, and events that are easy to miss but hard to forget, please subscribe to this channel, hit like, and share this video with someone who loves discovering stories beneath the surface. We've only started to go underground. There are many more secrets waiting to be told.